Hi, I'm Scott Humphrey, CEO of the World Floor Covering Association, and this is Leadership Live. Welcome to October. I recently had the opportunity to speak at a celebration of life for a gentleman who had an impact on the flooring industry. His name was Davegiesling. Dave had been inducted into the World Floor Covering Association Hall of Fame, which is really made up of the people who have made our industry what it is, and they waited for the induction to be a part of his celebration of life. The privilege to speak there meant a lot to me because I'd only met Dave a few times, but every time I did, he gave you that impression that you had known him your entire life. And when you spoke to Dave, he had that rare ability to block out everyone else and make you feel like it was all about you. If you don't know Dave's name, I'll just tell you he spent a lot of time in the industry, ultimately founding a group called Floor Expo, which later became known as the FEI group, and he surrounded himself with some great people. I thought about the things from what I'd heard. I have some really good friends who are also dear friends who have spent much time with Dave, and I thought about what made him unique as a leader, because he wasn't a leader solely of position, he was a leader of impact. And there were three things that really stood out to me that I shared with him that I'd like to share with you very briefly today. One is Dave had this rare ability to look at the possibility. Dave was one of those people who saw speed bumps and not roadblocks. And so when people told him that something couldn't be done, that didn't stop Dave. It actually encouraged him and challenged him to prove those people wrong. In other words, if he was convinced it was the right thing, he was committed to seeing it through. I thought of the story that I've shared with you before of Steve Jobs when he was looking for someone to put glass on the front of the iPod, the iPad, the iPhone. And he couldn't find anyone to do that and didn't want to use plastic. He wanted glass. And so he spoke to somebody who said Corning had created something like this that they called Gorilla Glass. He got an appointment with the CEO of Corning, told him the whole story. And after waiting patiently, the CEO said to him, "We can't do that." He said, without hesitation, Steve Jobs said, "Don't be afraid. You can do it." It wasn't some sales pitch. It wasn't something you heard at a motivational seminar. It was really what Steve Jobs believed, and it's really what Davegiesling believed. You know how that story ended. So Steve Jobs ended up getting Gorilla Glass put on the end of there because he convinced the gentleman at Corning that it was doable. And that's the type of person that Dave was. I can't tell you how many times as I stood in the crowd, I heard from people stories of how he was told no, but he kept going. The second thing I would tell you that made him unique was his passion. He was very driven to make a difference. In fact, if he was engaged in anything, he was fully engaged, whether that was educating young people about space. Dave had a hobby of researching meteorites and finding meteorites all over the world, and everything he did fully. He was passionate about it. Listen, time is so limited. Why spend your time doing something that you're not passionate about? It doesn't mean you'll enjoy every moment, but the pursuit is only one step toward the goal. And it should be a goal that you know is worth the effort. So be passionate about it. Finally, the last thing, and the thing that became very apparent at this gathering, was the people that Dave had surrounded himself with. Amazing people. Some of the who's who, other Hall of Fame members were there to celebrate and honor his life and to celebrate with his family. I want you to know that you'll never go further in your life than the people that you surround yourself with. If you surround yourself with people who can't, you won't. But if you surround yourself with people who are good, who want to do and be their best, and maybe those who are even at a level higher than you deem yourself, then you're likely to excel as well. Possibility, passion, and people. Traits of Davegiesling: a great life, a life well lived, a life fully lived, and traits of great leaders. Apply them to your life, and then go out there and lead.